First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
I was looking for some information about, what caused people to want to have this organization.
Yeah.
And then first off, they moved because there were a lot of people from Rome. But I go, but what was on people's mind?
Yeah.
What was it that made people? And I found one common denominator was housing. People couldn't find places to live. So
wow.
As I kept talking to people, housing, then I ran into a guy, John Dove. That was a name, which probably doesn't bring anything to anybody here. And he was African-American working at RADC. He invented and patented much of the technology that's in CDs.
Oh, so I think I've spoken to that guy.
Yeah, well, it must have been a while ago.
Well, it went back when I was on 107 in the 90s. Because that's when I discovered the CD, the technology that led to the compact disc came out of Griffiths.
Right. Well, and he was living in Rome, and when other African Americans would come, they would have a hard time finding a place to live. And actually, the first thing I heard about it, his involvement in this woman said, "Oh no, John Dove, you know who he is? He had to get a real estate license just so he could get a house."
Wow.
And of course I said, well, first off, did he really have a license? I have to be able to prove this. This is part of doing a documentary.
Yeah.
So I went and talked through, and then I got comments from a guy. Well, yeah, I stayed at John Dove's house when I first got here. Really?
Wow.
Wow. He goes, yeah. And I said, did he have a real estate license? I'm trying to find out. I said, well, I don't know if he had a license or not, but he would help people get houses. He had some places that he could send people to stay where they would be able to stay. And I started unraveling more of that story. And he was
incredible that, we think about the North, New York, as being so open and welcoming. And, of course, we weren't a part of any of that bigotry, but we really were. I mean, Oh, yeah.
And there's another story about a guy coming from the Jim Crow, and he said, everything's wonderful up north, right? Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. And he goes on stories like that. You just never thought of it. And then since I lived in Rome, but during high school, so you don't, you're really not there. I think back and I go, gee, some of the things that he's talking about and these people are talking about, like how did you get how did I get my parents get the house in our neighborhood?
Right.
No, never talked about it.
Yeah.
But then when I'm listening to these stories of these people, how they got their houses and where they were, I said, well, I'm sure those kinds of things were going around.
Yeah.
But,
Well, listen, I mean, there's a story that just came out, which is from, I forget which state, not in New York, but a recent story where a woman kept trying to buy a house and the prices were she was trying to sell her house.
Right, and they were dropping the price.
And every time she got it appraised, she felt like the appraisal was way too low. Yeah. So she brought in a friend who was white who portrayed the homeowner, and they got an appraisal, and it went up by like $100,000.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, something like this still happens, and it's still in people's subconscious.
It still is. But, in all fairness, things take a long time to change.
Right.
You can only move forward so fast. I mean, a current example of what we have parallel is gay rights. You're gay, you can get married. Everything, the war is over. Yay. No, it isn't.
Right.
It isn't over. And that just means it's legal now.
Right.
Doesn't mean people are going to all of a sudden say, come on, and I'll make your cake.
There are still many people that are not accepting of that.
Exactly.
Just my opinion, I do think that the fight you compared it to a war has kind of advanced quicker than it did for people of color in this country. But there was just a court ruling yesterday that the church in Philadelphia can deny foster parenthood based on same-sex couples if you're a same-sex couple.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it becomes the constitutional issue of freedom of religion, and they were ultimately discriminating against the church, and you can't do that. And that was a unanimous decision by conservatives and liberals on the Supreme Court. Tell me about your interview with our good friend Greeley Ford.
Well, as I said, I was looking for source material. I said, I'll talk to Greeley Ford, our local state liquor authority director. He's from Rome. He'll tell me all about it. I call him up for an interview. Sits down. I talk to him like a couple of minutes, and then I said, so what was it like growing up in Rome? Didn't grow up in Rome.
Right.
Well, I guess that changes my story.
So here's another interview.
I said, well, I was adopted. I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen used to play at my high school. Get out! So we just started talking about music for the rest of the interview.
I want to play. Let me play the clip here. This is Rick speaking with Greeley Ford. Here.
College picnic.
No, it is not. This is Rick talking with Greeley Ford.
I'm from Asbury Park, New Jersey. I went to Christian Brothers Academy High School down in Lincroft, New Jersey. I came up here in 1973 to Utica College, and that's why I'm here. Bruce Springsteen was playing in local bars when I was growing up. He wasn't even nearly as big as Classified. He was nobody. Look at him now. So I have pictures in my yearbook of him playing a high school concert like on a Wednesday afternoon when there's like maybe 20 people in the gym. I mean, he really was nobody. I was his gopher for the day, and the boys' locker room, well, it was only the boys' locker room because there was no girls at the school, so the locker room was his dressing room. And the guitar, the Telecaster on the White Album with him and Clarence Thomas on the cover, he gave me that guitar. He goes, here, hold this. He was changing strings on it or something like that, and he had me hold it for him. So little did I know I was holding what was going to be a part of rock and roll history one day. So that was kind of cool.
Wow. And that has nothing to do with your documentary.
Absolutely nothing. I have more fascinating stories that just will never be in the full-length version or the preview version. It has nothing to do with it. But,
Rick's got a bucket full of ideas for his next documentary.
Yes.
But that interview didn't help this one.
It's a documentary entitled Potpourri.
Stories that didn't fit anywhere but here.
That's right. All right. And I know you've got other places to go, but quickly, a quick synopsis of what's going to happen and when people can watch it.
Well, what's going to happen, it's going to play, and it'll be playing actually tonight, 7 o'clock at Cinema.
It's the CBS, right?
Tonight it'll be on at Cinema. It'll be actually, look, people, you've sat at home watching your TV. Get out. Come to the Cinema Capitol tonight and tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's only a half an hour, and it's followed by a second feature called Nation Time, made in 1970.
Which is a very interesting story around this one.
Yeah. It's very, very, very...
This was thought to be too militant, too controversial to ever air on TV.
We can't. CBS said, we aren't airing this. It's too controversial. Yeah. Well, Cinema Capitol.
What's it about?
It's about racial issues from the early 70s and how... continuing, actually, it's really odd that we're, like many stories, we're doing the same thing today. We're talking about the same issues. It's, same thing, but being able to see the people, and there's a whole laundry list of people that you'll know, and that and you can find out more details if you want to see.
Are you showing the full in Rome tonight? Will you show the full feature or the edited? Because it was ultimately edited down. Right.
Well, it's more like it's edited up.
Okay, so then they brought it back.
Right. Well, tonight is the same thing that's going to be on TV.
Okay.
And these are sections from the completed version, which I'm actually still working on, because there are, again, being able to interview people. I did not want to have a bunch of Zoom calls and phone calls and masks.
Yeah.
So I really couldn't start the process until April. And if you're doing these kind of stories, think spiderweb. All of a sudden you're talking to somebody and you go, whoa, I got to check that
now
out.
I got to travel.
And I've gone to Baltimore to talk to the daughter of the first president, because that's where she was. And I didn't want to have a phone interview.
Right.
So I went down there, and there are many more those types of things going on. But it's playing tonight before Nation Time, and then also tomorrow at 7. But it's also going to be on the CBS affiliate for KTV tomorrow at 7.
Okay. All right.
And
So you'll be able to watch it tomorrow night if you can't get out, but get out of the house.
yeah,
is what you're
I
saying.
think people, come on, get out. You've watched TV.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a few lazy people that'll stay there, but you know what? Get out, enjoy a movie, and affordably priced at the Capitol, Cinema Capitol.
Greeley is editing himself because I know Greeley has a political mind. He said, I made a mistake. I called him Clarence Thomas, who is a Supreme Court justice, by the way.
I heard that, and I'm like,
You know what? I thought I edited that.
Bruce Springsteen and Clarence Thomas had an album together?
You know what?
It is Clarence Clemens, by the way, who is the... But, it was kind of a Black History thing, so I'm like, all right.
I heard that, I'm like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I did edit that out of one of the.
I got this. Sorry there, Greeley. We got the unedited clip. So.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Yeah. Well,
Very funny, though. And I got to tell you, Greeley yesterday talking about this time touring with the Beach Boys. I heard more people asking about that and asking what was the name of that documentary Greeley was talking about. Echoes in the Canyon was the one, and then the what was the other one? It was the I'll get it for you.
I got nothing
coming up. Like the hit. What was it called? I don't know. Well, anyway. Greeley's a great interview and good stuff. So, just not if you're talking about the Rome and NAACP because he didn't live here. So there you go.